Mr. Toodi, I will call you Captain Toodi.
Yes, that's
right?
how the people call me in the army.
Yeah, and I would love to call you Captain Toodi.
Thank you.
Right? So now you're in Illinois, ready to getting deployed to Afghanistan.
Right.
And of course, I've asked you about, have you ever felt that fear? And of course, the family and all that stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So since now you're from an Indian descent, right?
Right.
And you are raised in India and all that stuff. And back home, we have a different kind of bonding, less logical, more emotional, if
Right.
I may say that.
Right.
Right, that is how the Indian families are,
Yes.
more family oriented, close family, and that's how it was back in US also. That
Of
is how
course.
it was,
Right.
In 60s, 40s,
Right.
30s, and
Right.
all that stuff. Right, things have changed now.
Right.
So when you were getting deployed, your family is there. Lot of other your colleagues, American, African American, maybe
Right.
Chinese, I don't
Right.
know, and all that, right? Was there a difference in how your family was reciprocating to your going to Afghanistan versus the other families?
So basically, the human emotion, when it boils down to, I am saying goodbye to my soldier, they start the same emotions in anybody. Of course, the cultural difference was that I had a bigger thing. My sister came. My wife and kids are the most common things, and the parents. Right? But I had extended family. I had an uncle who was my elder brother, and I had my father-in-law that come, and they were all emotionally as concerned about my well-being as everybody else. Other than that, rest of it was same. And America also being part of global conflicts has been seasoned in trying to say through these emotions of seeing their soldiers off, and sometimes seeing them in caskets coming back. So the wives and the parents always are that question of, is it the last time I'm seeing my soldier?
Right,
and the
right.
soldier saying, is the last time I'm touching my family? Do I get to say hi? Again, fear, touch them or not, creates same human emotions. And as we left Illinois, and we were flying for the next 2 days. I was continuing this.
Sorry.
The next 2 days, the weight of saying goodbye to our families
Okay.
carried over us, that until we reached Kuwait. We had this time in the flight, sitting there for almost 48 to 72 hours, that we were all trying to digest what we left off and mentally getting prepared to where we were going.
Does anybody show their tears coming out?
Of course, there
are.
As I said, my commander, who is a Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel Smith, as he was talking to these families, looking at them eye to eye and say, I'll do my best to bring these families together, was also faced with questions, because later we interacted, and he said, what if I can't bring them? What if I have to come back, even with one less soldier that I went, and what do I tell to their... That is American leadership. As an officer, when you are a leader, you're not only thinking about the mission and the mission success, you're also thinking about the mental and the families and everybody, that this responsibility of leading weighs on you as a lieutenant, as a captain, as a major, because as an officer, day in, day out, the decisions that you make are about the lives and deaths of your unit. So, it's a hard question to face, that are we all going to come in one piece? So it was, I could not stop my tears as I was saying bye to my family. They were leaving. I just wanted to turn, I was touching my kids, and they were just 5 and 6, 4 and 5. They did not know where I was going, what I was going, why mommy was crying, why grandfathers are crying. So they were like, but they cried. At the end, I saw them when they cried. I did not want to show them that I was crying, because I wanted to show my strong thing. I want to my wife and everybody. So I just turned and I walked back into the unit.
So you put your emotions completely in, and don't show them.
A strong mask so that they know.
So you pretend that you are a strong,
of course,
out of the emotions and all that stuff,
of course,
you walk away.
Of course, and these emotions, not only there, but when you go for deployment and when you are in a conflict and you are facing the enemy fire.
So, by the way, I'm so sorry.
The reason what I'm saying is, these emotions is what will direct you as a soldier, how you react.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, when I said you pretend strong, I'm saying in that aspect
Right,
there,
exactly.
you guys are definitely
No, at that time-
stronger than anything else I can think
No,
of
you
in
have
my
to
entire
pretend you're
world.
stronger to your family. That at
Exactly.
least
That-
they
I
think
just
that
want to.
they lean on your strength
That-
to go back home thinking
Okay,
that he's
yeah.
going to come back.
Right,
If
right.
you're going to just cry there and say that, I don't know, this is my last time, and they're going to be more broken. So,
Right, right.
yes.
So I almost envisioned myself, and I almost envisioned you in the Chicago, wherever that was. For some reason, I'm
Springfield,
thinking
yes.
it is a
Springfield, Illinois.
okay, and yeah. I mean, I just cannot think.
It is a very raw emotion, but that brings your family together more closer, that strengthens and
So sorry. So you have like 2 days in the flight, and people, you could see them crying, and it has a time.
no, I mean,
that
we
you
put
got-
it aside. So after I left Illinois, I was in I was in El Paso.
So how did you go? Like a flight or a ship? Or
No, we went on a flight to El Paso.
Okay.
And El Paso is the mobilization gateway from America.
Oh.
And we were in El Paso for next 3 weeks,
Okay.
trying to get prepared for mobilization.
I see, I see.
Because we write our wills, we take all kind of medications and everything, and vaccines, because as we're going out, and we go through training again to make sure that we are ready, as prepared as we can be to go. We look at the financial aspect of it, and write our stuff, insurances, and all that stuff. So it takes another 3 weeks. So we were in El Paso.
So Army gives a new insurance, or you have your own life insurance? How does
No. Army gives you LSGI. It's called LSGI. It's almost $500,000 for every soldier. So the benefits American Army gives to the soldiers, they're uncomparable with any other force in the world.
So God forbid if somebody doesn't come back, then their family, their wife
Yes.
and kids are going to get like $500,000 or $1 million,
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
I mean, definitely money cannot replace the person,
cannot.
but at least their financial needs are met.
Of course, Army
and are
takes
taken
care of, yes,
okay.
the
So
families.
that's a very good aspect at
Yes,
least.
yes.
Oh, okay. So $500,000, that's a limit.
That is a limit. Maximum you can do
Okay.
is
If you want to increase that.
Yes, you can add more if you want.
Okay,
Then
okay.
that's when you are paying for your. If a regular American person wants to pay for life insurance, he has to pay monthly. Until $500,000, Army pays for your monthly.
Okay.
And
After that,
you can increase.
you pay it from your pocket.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So 3 weeks you're in El Paso.
We're in El Paso
Preparing
3 weeks,
for that.
and after
Then-
that, we take a C-170 flight,
Oh, okay.
and we go. We start in.
C-170 flight, what does that mean? Like it's a fighter jet, or it's a fighter plane?
No,
What-
it's the Army mobilizing carrier where you have
okay.
almost 200 soldiers that can sit. It has 3 different levels. One level the soldiers sit, but if the soldiers are not there, they can take the seats out and use them for putting all your tanks and everything. They carry. These are the workhorses of the Army. The C-170s that always flies between the US and wherever you're fighting.
So you get to sleep on the flight?
It's a regular flight that you do, that you take, like your Boeing ones.
okay,
These are also built probably by them,
okay.
but the seat is just a normal seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So earlier I forgot to ask you one question. You are by birth Hindu.
Yes.
So do they let you practice Hindu?
Yes. During the Army training, every Sunday, Army has this rich tradition. There are pastors that they're called chaplains. It is an MOS. People train as chaplains. From battalion level, you will see chaplains there to make sure that your faith and your mentally, your well-being, right? And these days, because I have met so far 2 Hindu chaplains. It's very rare.
Hindu priest or chaplain?
No, chaplains. They are soldiers
Oh.
that get trained to talk to the Hindu soldiers. As chaplain, they can talk to anybody. When you have,
That's not Hindu thing, right? Chaplain is not Hindu thing.
not a
right?
thing.
That's a Christian.
But these are the people that are trained how to bridge gap between, to serve the faith needs of the soldiers.
Oh, okay.
So they go through around 8 months of scriptures and studies and all that
I
stuff,
see.
that they can serve as the guiding forces for the soldiers whenever they are in need and question of faith.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because when they are deployed through the PTSD and through all this stuff, they get completely shaken, and the faith holds them strong.
Good, good. Okay. Thank you. So now you're in a flight.
Yes.
You're going whatever 3 levels of flight.
Right.
Once you land, do you directly land into Iraq or?
No, we don't. So there is a theater gateway in Al Assad in Kuwait called in Kuwait. So that is where there is a receiving unit that takes, and you take another one more week in Kuwait preparing to go into the battleground. So you are given weapons there. You draw your weapons out of there, and then you go through and you are looking at the final intel, and then you are reorganizing because now this is your last 11th hour before you get in. You know, the moment you go in, it's like, you know, the rubber hits the road and you start going, right? So you try to reorganize in the last moment. There is a that is where a lot of your intel on your fight, where you are, what you are doing. You go through those briefs in.
So by then you are emotional, your family is come totally out of your mind.
Yeah, once you go in there and you are in the thing, you understand what you're thinking. You know how to go big.
No more emotions, no more family connections, no more thinking about.
Yeah. You're right now. Your mind has to be preparing yourself to go there.
Done.
But you still have a phone. You can call home and you can say everything is going good. We're good.
So your cell phone, regular cell phone, or you have an army?
No, we have regular cell phone until then.
Oh, okay.
In Kuwait as well. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now you are in Kuwait,
right?
And then you go to
right after 1 week. There are flights that go out of Kuwait every day to the different bases where we are fighting. There are bases in Iraq, Afghanistan, Egypt, Jordan, Syria. Everywhere people are going, and you are given a chalk. Chalk is basically you are given a flight, right? This is where you need to go, and ours was after 1 week, and we take that, and we ended up in where I got deployed was called Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, which was 90 miles north of Kabul in the Parwan province, called Bagram Air Force Base. If you remember seeing when American forces left Afghanistan, there were people trying to hang on and jump on top of the flights, and there were very, very disturbing visuals because Afghan nationals wanted to get out of the nation. As American forces, we helped as many as we could, but it was out of the Bagram Air Force Base, the last troops demobilized out of Afghanistan. So that is where our unit was home stationed at, but we were traveling around the entire theater in Afghanistan between the Kabul, between Kandahar.
Through your army.
All these things.
Army.
Yes. All other army fighting operating bases.
So as soon as you land into Iraq, did you like
Afghanistan?
Afghanistan. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Afghanistan. I don't know why I was thinking
right.
Iraq. So Afghanistan. How was your like expression? How was your feeling? Like, oh my Jesus! Like, how was that like?
So for me, Afghanistan was also a place of our forefathers because that was Gandhar.
Right.
So I was feeling like I'm going to this rich tradition land that was, forfeited long time back. So I was, there was a thread running that I'm going here and I'm trying to meet these people because at that one point, these people were part of India.
Correct.
Right? That's where Gandhari is from.
Right.
That is where Shakuni is from. And then the other thing was we were keeping in touch with what was happening operationally. And, you think, this is it. You're here now. And so it was, and after that, you don't have the luxury of time because once you go there, missions are coming. You're trying to understand. You're trying to take over from the unit that is trying to go back to home, and you're trying to take over from there. So there is a 2 to 3 weeks time where you're doing, right seat, left seat, trying to do the transition of operations, and you take over. Yeah.
So was there any how long were you there in Afghanistan?
So I was there for 9 to 10 months in Afghanistan from
that's a long time
November of 2019 to almost summer, July of 2020.
So was there any accidents like bombing stuff like that?
So I land Afghanistan on 6th of November, and on 11th of December, operations are going on. We're going out. We get hit with 5,000 pounds of C4. Somebody puts it in a truck and hits 200 meters away from where we were sleeping. Early in the morning at 4 o'clock, they hit a Korean hospital that Korea built, the Korean forces built. They came and hit it, and the impact was so big that I fell out of my bed at 4:30 in the morning because the shock wave that it creates is so strong. And then since
you
then...
said 5,000 pounds?
5,000 pounds of C4.
Wow.
And when that happened, sometimes in movies they show you when something happens, there is a static thing that goes. Since then, my eyes started ringing, and even today, my eyes continuously start, my ears continuously start ringing. It's called tinnitus, and you get that because it's such a high frequency blast that it takes toll on you.
So how did you feel? Like, this is it, I'm dead? Kind of
No,
what
no,
was-
no, no. So you fell out, and then you know that you're under attack. And as a soldier, you're trained what to do. You go, you take your position. You're completely scanning for people coming in. This is a public information, so I can share. This was December 11th, and there was news. And for next 24 to 48 hours, the news was almost 30 Taliban soldiers infiltrated, and they're everywhere
into your camp,
into the base.
into the base.
So we don't know where they are coming, and then of course things happened within 48 hours. We completely regained control of that, and we rebuilt that wall. We got it in 48 hours.
So were there like really soldiers into your camp? 30 soldiers?
30 Taliban
Taliban soldiers?
Yes, they were.
30 Taliban terrorists.
Terrorists
Into your
got
camp.
into the camp,
So-
and this blast killed the Georgians that were the Georgian soldiers that were protecting the wall, and we fought and we killed all the insurgents into the camp.
So
The Taliban insurgents.
how did you feel? So when I watch a movie like this, I mean, there are so many movies,
Yes.
right? I just couldn't name one movie.
Right.
When I'm seeing those things happening in the movies,
Right.
right? I think looks like because of the the real time incidents happen, they make movies, right?
Right.
And I'm sitting onto my chair without moving to see what is going to happen next.
Right.
And you are there in that field.
Right. At the
How was your experience? Like what? I mean, I know this is a stupid question to ask you, but I would still go ahead and ask you for my viewers to know how did you feel? Like 48 hours, like we as a civilians for little things we feel so stressed.
Right.
In IT field, we feel stressed that this is not deployed, that is not deployed, this is not done, that is not done. Yet our lives are okay.
Yes.
Right? But you, as a soldier, not just you, but all other soldiers sitting in the field, you just don't know where the bullet is going to come and hit you, and you're gone.
Right. So the training that culminates you to putting you in that position trains you to think, what is the best thing I can do to help this situation? Is to be a soldier. What is the responsibility you are given depending on where you are? Sometimes we are given responsibility to take care of an entire field, and we are as officers in charge of making sure that we create a security perimeter to make sure that if we see somebody, we fight, right? So you're thinking at that point, what is the best thing I can do? And you completely are trained to block off rest of the thoughts. Because if you let doubt permeate into your thoughts, or you let all these but what happens if this does not go, then you fail at your one duty that you are supposed to do, is to look for the signs of when you need to jump into the action. So you are trained to block all those things.
So going through all that kind of situations, right? That is the most pressurized situation I can ever
Yes.
think about, right?
Yes.
How does that help you in your normal life?
So right now, coming from there, and that is the reason why the American soldiers that come out of the deployment have a lot of these PTSDs and everything, because you are in a high adrenaline environment. Where we were, Bagram is called the rocket city, because we are hit with at least 10 to 15 rockets every day, because the Taliban come 1,000 meters close to the base, and they hit and they leave. And these rockets that are stuffed with all these high incendiaries, when it hits the ground, they just fly, and whoever is in the middle, it just puts a hole. It's a people, it's a metal or whatnot. But there are bunkers, we are trained how to react. And what happens
So
is,
those rockets launch directly into your base?
they are directly launched, they come, and I cannot discuss with you how a lot of the time the defenses that we have for the operating, the base contain them, but at least half of them come and land. But by that time, it would have given you enough preparation time that you would go in a bunker or you would go to safety. But what happens is, you have 10 seconds to react. When you hear the sirens go, you completely are on the ground, covering your head, and you are like this. And once you hear it lands, then after it lands, you get up and run into a bunker. So that is how you react first. And what happens is when you're going through this, then you're only thinking about what is the best way I can survive, because your survivability is what guarantees the mission success. You need to do what you need to do as a soldier. But once you go through stuff like that, there's only one thing. As an officer, they tell you when things happen, look at what is going on, make a decision and get out. Don't get stuck. Which is what Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells to Arjuna. Why are you stuck seeing the entire Kauravas and all that stuff? Right now, what is your responsibility? What is your duty? Do that and don't worry about the consequences. And coming from the culture that we are, I think of all the soldiers, I should say, the Hinduism or the culture prepared me well for that thing. For every lesson that I learned through.
So your school, what was that school you said you?
Saraswati Shishu Mandir.
Saraswati Shishu Mandir. Did that help you in situations like this?
Saraswati Shishu Mandir, we are taught Bhagavad Gita until 10th, right? And then Saraswati Shishu Mandir is a reason, of course, I went into the army, knowing everything, we are like, I am ready to give a part of me to this country. And when it comes to America, and when you come and you become part of the community, you understand through your time that country is not a border. Country is collection of people. And now I have responsibility for this collection because my kids and my family are part of it. So, but I think your culture prepares you how you react to a situation. And so I came home much more mentally healthy and not depressed. Could be because of my age, because I was 32, 33. When I was deployed in 2019, I was almost 39. I hit my 40th birthday in the war zone. So my age helped me. But when you see a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, an 18-year-old get deployed, his reactions are different. So I attribute a part of it to the culture, and I attribute a part of it to the age
where
yes.
you are
yes.
in your life.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So you were in Afghanistan. Did you interact or go to the places outside your base to interact with the locals?
Yes. So being in Afghanistan, coming from India, I knew Hindi. And Hindi was, my second
language there?
So in Afghanistan, they love Bollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And all of them speak Hindi, Urdu.
Oh.
Coming from Hyderabad, I had the advantage of understanding Urdu and maybe communicating a little too. So whenever we went on the missions, we had your soldiers and then we would have translators.
Oh.
I was in a unique position to be a soldier and a translator. I would go on most of the missions I could go and then interact with the locals in trying to translate. They have, some of the missions could be very civilian missions where you're helping or you're trying to do something. So I was part and parcel of going out and interacting with the soldiers, the local Afghani people.
What was your feelings when you saw them? They are living in a war zone. I mean, of course, like you are a army person. You chose to be in US Army. You chose to give your life to the country.
Right.
But people in Afghanistan, civilians, who has no responsibility, absolutely no, contribution to whatever disturbances was there.
Right.
But yet, their lives are taken away for whatever reasons.
Right.
How did you feel, and what did you capture from them, from the locals there?
So by the time my deployment came, American philosophy, the US Army philosophy in Afghanistan changed, where we are trying to win the hearts and minds of people. So American soldier, when he is out there, the rules of engagement is we don't fire first. We take, and then because the terrorists were hiding behind the faces and behind the thing of the civilians. Right. American soldier has to, or any NATO soldier, has to understand before you fire back, are you firing at a civilian or you're firing at a terrorist? Because it was a culture, part and parcel of Afghani people, to carry weapons. It does not mean that they're a threat to you. So at this point, the philosophy of the army was to win the hearts and minds. And we wanted to go win the confidence of the local people that we are here invested in your growth. We are invested to make sure that we are safeguarding your nation and trying to get democracy to you so that it converts. So that was the mission of the American Army. So when we are talking to the locals, what I personally took from them is Afghanistan is very uneducated place because of its culture or whatnot, but they are very, very agrarian society. lot of agriculture.
Oh.
All of them were people that believed in mud, believed in land. So I felt like I was seeing the people from villages back home, from my grandfathers and grandmothers, where they're very naive. They're very simple people, and they're very sensitive people. When you talk to them, you could understand, you could connect to their emotional problems and everything, and they had no choice.
Were you ever connected to any of the Afghanistans emotionally?
I did, but as a soldier, I had my limitations. I actually am still good friends with a translator that I worked in while I was in Afghanistan, and I helped him to come to US, and he's actually lives very close to me. He's married and he has a kid, and I'm very, very involved with their family.
Oh, I would love to meet him.
Of course.
To get the Afghanistan culture out into my
Of course.
show for the people who
we'll
like
do
me,
that.
like me, who has no knowledge about Afghanistan. All I see is in the movies where I see all is sand and sand and sand.
I said
To that point, I'm sorry, sir.
Of course.
To that point, Captain Toodi, what do they cultivate? What is that agricultural they
So,
do in sand?
other than, it's not sand. Afghanistan has the most fertile land. It's all mud. So they do grapes
Oh,
a lot. And unfortunate thing is, during the war, the Taliban needed money. And so what they did is they forced the farmers to cultivate hashish, which is opium.
the opium.
So
Oh,
they have
okay.
become opium fields, unfortunately.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So, I know we can talk all night here.
Right.
And yet not be done with this interview. But so, I would like to go back to the question of Captain Toodi. How do we encourage the Indian descent kids to join the US Army?
I would say a lot of the first generation Indian Americans that live in America, they find refuge in being doctors and being IT for the safety, right? But I would say you can do that in the US Army. You can start the discipline that putting the uniform, the courage, the self-confidence, it reformats you. It creates leadership in you. It starts as early as 10-year-old. As soon as you turn 10, you can join a program called Sea Cadets. There are 2 units here in Dallas.
10 years
Yes.
old guy can join Sea Cadets,
Yes.
which is affiliated to the defense services.
Yes, it is. You're not a soldier,
Right,
but you're
of
getting
course not,
prepared to one. So a lot of the retired Army, Navy, and the Air Force officers are out there, and they're running. So this is just like
Is it like NCC in India?
exactly. So
Okay.
NCC is called JROTC in America, Junior Reserve Officer Training Course, which happens in high school because NCC starts there. But even before that, there is something called Sea Cadets. Sea Cadets is just basically like your the Scouts program.
Scouts.
But the
Scouts and guides.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But the Scouts has a religious angle to it because the Scouts have to be sponsored through a church.
Oh, okay.
But Sea Cadets is completely different, where they give you a uniform. As a soldier, they at a 10-year-old, they give you responsibility. You have your sea bag, you have your equipment that you're responsible for. And then every month you go a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and you go interact with all these soldiers, connecting
This
as
is
a
very,
family.
very interesting. So, a 10-year-old can go to the Sea Cadets.
Yes.
Is there a prerequisite, like, he has to have A's, B's, C's, anything
No,
like that?
just he needs to be 10-year-old.
He
As
just
soon
has
as he turned 10, he can is SEAC Cadets. Go online and find, and if you put your zip code wherever you are, where it'll tell you which is the closest program. You can go check out. You can talk to the person that is in charge to talk about their program. They do amazing job. And not only that, remember I told you before in the last episode that you can go to ROTC. You can go to West Point, Cathedral, or Army Air Force Academy. The people that go through Sea Cadets are given first priority, to it. It's like a 3% chance that you can get accepted into West Point. And people that go through Sea Cadets have 90% chance.
Wow.
Yeah, to become a
So you can be a sea cadet and yet decide down the road that you don't want to be in defense
Yeah, you
services.
don't have to be.
But at least you will learn how to be disciplined. You will
Exactly.
have some leadership skills and
Exactly.
whatnot. And
Right.
this is all comes for free.
This all comes, you pay $50 per each drill. There is some nominal thing to charge, but this is the best thing I would suggest a lot of people.
Well, I didn't know about that sea cadet.
Right.
Had I known that, I would put my son into that sea cadet. I'm telling you.
Right. A lot of people don't know, and I take it as a mission for me to tell a lot of Indian parents that check that program out. And if you miss the bus, your kid is in high school, don't worry about it. Let them join JROTC. A lot of the schools have JROTC.
So for that, is there a prerequisite like you have to have A's, B's, C's? And
Yes, you have to maintain your grade to be in the JROTC. You are given a uniform and you are given a rank, and you grow through rank. You become leader. You are in charge of.
So that is the NCC compared to India.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is JROTC. Once you finish your high school, you did not do it. You want to go to college, you can do ROTC. And American Army pays for the entire schooling. You don't have to pay a single NP. Not only that, they pay your college tuition, and they'll also give you monthly stipend as a pocket money. And they pay for your books. They take care of your entire education. But you need to maintain at least 3.5 GPA and above, because they want to make sure that you don't go down on your grades. But at the same time, you are taught Army doctrine. If you are not able to do that, if you are a master's student, not of American descent, you are Indian descent, there used to be this program called MAVNI, MAVNI. Whenever US Defense Force is out there fighting, they wanted people of particular skills, and people of Indian descent were preferred during MAVNI program, that even if you're not a citizen of US, even if you're on F1, they get you as a contracting 6-year thing. And if you fulfill your 6 years, they will give you Indian citizenship. And
US citizenship.
US citizenship. And it's because you know Urdu, and they want you to go there and understand.
Is that program still available?
It's not now. It's not, but sometimes they do it. Nepalis use this a lot. Nepalis people get green card within 4 months, and they try to use the MAVNI, come in, and they take 6 years and then take citizenship out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So this is master's student. Let's say you did not do it through ROTC, or you are in your final year, you could not do it. Join in your reserve National Guard or Army Reserves. You give 6 months, you go get training, you come back, you can do your civilian job, but 1 weekend a month, you go, and 1 month a year during summer, you go and you do your annual training, and you do your bidding to the nation.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is also a possibility. What was that?
It's called Army Reserves, Marine Corps Reserves, Air Force Reserves, or any reserve corps.
Okay, so
want a lot of people.
So for that, So for that, do you have like a test and a training and all that?
Right, of course, test is common, because
test
for
is
you
common.
to decide, you have to go through the thing I told you. You have to take the Army written test and then go through MEPS and all this stuff.
Okay, so you can still continue to do your civil job and yet be a part of the Army.
Exactly, that is
they
the
will
reserve
still
corps.
pay you.
They will pay you for the 2 days that you go.
Right. Okay.
American Army, 80%, though it's very strongest, and we are able to maintain the same numbers, because 80% of American Army are people like me who are doing reserve job. And 20% is only active Army. The thing is, when you go for a war, the active Army just goes for the initial 2 months. Then they come back. The reserve unit goes, the Army National Guard, Army Reserve have taken 80% of deployment rotations in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
We support.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. That when you talked about the pay part and all that stuff, one thing came into my mind. At the beginning of our interview, you said you left $150,000 a year job and then you came into that.
Right.
From financial aspect, Captain Toodi, does it match anywhere where you are today? Or
So,
how does that work? Like
I am a reservist. I still do my civilian job.
Oh, okay.
But when I go for 1 month during summer, or when I go get deployed, of course, you are not going to get paid. As an Army officer, there is a pay range, which is less than what you get paid as an IT soldier. But that is the price that I take it as an honor to pay to be in the front lines of protecting the nation.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Very good. I had another question for you. So, as an individual, I heard from other people there is a notion that if you go to these defense services in US, there is a problem with you being an Indian descent and other people because you are brown and all that stuff.
Right.
Did you face any kind of faces like problems like that, or is there anything like that? I mean, is that just
It's wrong, because the truth is farther from that.
okay?
When you become a part of a unit where you put the nation first and you need to trust the person to watch your back, your color does not matter. You become a brother.
You haven't faced any of those.
I have not so far faced any. I mean, there is army jokes that go where you become so friends that they make jokes about your brownness and you make jokes about their whiteness, but it's not out of any racial disrespect. It's because now he is your brother,
fun, yeah.
and you can,
like a brotherly.
That's
but
all
there
it
is
is.
nothing.
No, and it is amazing how the American people, I mean, America as a fabric, the community is interwoven by people that come from Britain, England,
Of course.
Italy, Germany, everywhere else. So it is a melting pot. And so in America, as long we believe, and as long as you are committed to the cause of this nation, you are accepted.
Right. So,
Yes.
so my viewers so far, and I mean, whoever wanted to go to army does not need to worry about that aspect.
Actually, it completely changes your perspective of how when you come out. We see a lot of Indian movies where the Indian soldiers try to come in when they are not soldiers, and they try to take social problems and try to become champions of that cause. That happens to you in the army. When you put your life to safeguard this nation becomes yours. Even if you are out of the uniform, when you see a problem, your perspective changes, that you are part of the solution. You take responsibility for it. You never say, this is not my problem, because this is your nation. So how you own the nation, your perspective changes.
Very good. Very good. One last question,
Yes.
or we'll try to conclude this. As in the U.S. Army, Captain Toodi, what kind of so you go to airlines or anywhere. Do you show your ID as a U.S. Army person, and are you like respected, and do you have this preferential treatment anywhere?
America does give preferential treatment. If for army people, if you are trying to go in a flight, right after the first class, they try to board you first.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times, we don't try to say that we are from army. For situational awareness, if we are traveling in uniform, yeah, we can't help it. But the rest of the time, you don't try to, you don't do it for the preferential treatment.
Okay.
So having said that, there are a lot of discounts that army people can avail. There is a lot of, like in India, if you go to the railways and everything,
Mm-hmm.
the soldiers have something. So in America also, there are some benefits that you can avail. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I would thank you for
Thank you.
coming into my show and share all that. We tried to put all your life into very short period of time. I tried, but I know we could not all of it. But yet, in the essence of time and thinking about time,
Right.
I would want to conclude this.
No, I really appreciate you giving me a chance to share my story with my people. I'll conclude this with a question that I hear a lot. A lot of people come to me and say, hey, India is growing as a strong nation. What if you have to go fight the Indian army? They say that. So my answer to that is, first thing, India is in the non-aligned movement. India never tries to think, but even if that comes, I think our epics, the Mahabharatas, Ramayanas, have given us a cultural stories of what you need to do, right? What is your dharma, right? It doesn't matter where you are. What is your dharma? And I look at that and I take inspiration from Bhishma. Bhishma was on the side he needed to be, not on the side he wanted to be. It does not matter, because I think that having this nation given me a chance, not just for me, my family, and creating, I feel that my dharma is with this land. So this is my fatherland, but my motherland always is going to be India. But if I have to fight, I have to fight from, to fulfill my dharma. And I'm thinking that the epics that I have read and all the things will guide me in the right way.
I wanted to ask that question, but I tried to shy away for whatever reason.
Right.
But I'm so happy to you having that question and answering that.
Yes.
And I really, really appreciate the way you took one side versus trying to be a diplomatic answer or a political answer.
Right.
I really, really appreciate it. Hey, one last silly question.
Sure.
You say on an interstate, you're going, you're speeding. A cop stops you, right?
Right.
So he asks for an ID.
Right.
What do you do? Like you show your...
So most of the soldiers, if you are ever deployed, you have plates. So before they stop you, they know that you are a military member, because my plates are service plates.
Oh, right now you have a service
Right,
plate
and
on
it has my medals that I won, that I was given in Afghanistan, my meritorious service medal or my Afghan war campaign medal. It says on the plate, so they will be able to see that even before they knock the door.
Oh, okay.
Right, and as a soldier, as you're not just in uniform, even when you take out of the uniform, you're always trying to put the best version because you're representing the American army. So it is very rare that an American soldier gets in a troubled place where he has to explain himself, because you're always trying to do the right thing. But if he's stopped, they would know. And we have strict consequences that if a soldier gets a speeding ticket, it actually, there is counseling that is done on the army side to make sure that you're not doing your civilian responsibility properly. So it's a big consequence that people try to stay under. But a lot of the cops are also previously served. Having said that they try to come and give you a warning, and if there is any leeway that they can give, they give you that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Was there ever, I mean, in at least in India, I know there were instances where the civilian, the police and the US Army, so Indian Army do end up in conflicts and all that stuff, right? Was that ever situation here in America, like, police and army getting into conflict?
No, so a lot of the times the Army Reserves and the National Guard are doing their civilian things, because the state governor can call for you. So they are responding to Katrina, they are local catastrophes, they're responding to a hazmat situation or anything like that. So we are trained to work integrating with the fire department, integrating with the police, integrating with, right now, the American soldiers are deployed on the border between America and Mexico, intertwined with the border security force. So I think most of the times it's to dramatize, but it never happens. That we know how to work and how to respect each other, because we respect each other's missions.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Captain Toodi. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
From my channel Prime9 TV and from our leadership back home. I wish to see you as a general, 1, 2, 3, 4 star, whatever God has reserved for you.
Thank you.
And a great honor to be with you on this show.
No, it's a great honor for me.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.